In my last video, I said if you guys could get it to 20 likes, I'll do a tutorial on how to build a lag machine. And you guys got to 20 likes in less than a day. So, we're doing a lag machine tutorial. Woo! Also, before we begin, I am obligated to inform you, do not build this on any server. You will most likely get banned. That's all I really need to say. Okay, on to the tutorial. Oh yeah, also, this is a very expensive machine. So if you're planning to build this in survival, you need to prepare to do a bunch of grinding. A list of materials is in the description. So the first thing you want to do is hit F3 and G. This will open chunk borders. This machine is exactly 6 by 6 chunks wide. So you're going to need to build a platform about 20 blocks into the air. It doesn't matter where you do this since this is going to be a pattern, but I like to start at the corners. What you're going to do is you want to place one block on the ground, a sticky piston above it, 11 slime blocks above that, and then a redstone block on top. So then you want to go to the corner of it and then build it again. And then do it again, and again, and again. Yes, I know, it will take a very long time, but once you're done, you'll end up with this checkerboard grid type pattern. When you finish this incredibly daunting task, you'll probably think to yourself, man, I spent so many weeks doing this, but I'm so glad it's finally done. Psych! You need to rebuild the entire thing 5 more times. If you're building this in creative mode, I really recommend you use World Edit, and if you're not, why are you doing this to yourself? Once you're done wasting an entire year of your life building a lag machine, what you want to do is you want to make sure that underneath every single piston, there is a redstone block. And underneath those redstone blocks, you need to place 2 slime blocks and then a piston facing up. Now once you're done with that, you want to go 2 blocks underneath the piston and then place an observer facing down. And yes, you have to do this for every single piston. I'm going to take a moment of your time to show you what an instant tick repeater is. If you build a configuration like this, you create what is known as an instant tick repeater. You see, regular redstone repeaters take about 1 redstone tick or 2 in-game ticks to activate, but this one takes 0 in-game ticks to activate, which is why it's called an instant tick repeater. We will be using this to activate every single piston at the exact same time to crash the server. 2 blocks underneath the observer, you want to build another platform, but this platform has to be made out of something that cannot be pushed by a piston. If you make it out of something that can be pushed by a piston, the machine will break. Despite what you are seeing now, do not make it out of something that can be pushed by a piston. I recommend using something like Obsidian or Crying Obsidian because they're really easy to get if you have access to the end or nether. If you want a cheaper source, I'm pretty sure furnaces would work, but I'm not entirely sure. For this next part, you need to turn on chunk borders. You want to find a corner that does not have an observer in it. You then want to go 4 spaces inward and then place a block of redstone. You then want to go 4 spaces next to the redstone block and then place another redstone block. I'll count with y'all so you know what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you place a redstone block here. Now you do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you place another redstone block. Do this on all sides of the redstone block, and when you're done, if you look up, you should see something like this. For every single redstone block, you want to place 2 slime blocks underneath it and then a sticky piston facing up. Once you're done with that, we can finally place our first piece of redstone. So you want to go to one of the sticky pistons that is on the corner of the build. On the corner of that sticky piston, you want to place a redstone block. It doesn't matter where you place that redstone block as long as it's on the corner. You then want to go 2 blocks out and place a sticky piston facing the redstone block and then a block underneath it. You then want to build this little L shape and then place a sticky piston underneath the redstone block but facing it. If you do it correctly, the moment you push the piston, it will activate. Side note, whichever direction the piston on the top is facing is the direction the redstone line will be going in. Next, you want to place a block on the butt of the bottom piston and then another block underneath it. You then want to go 4 blocks out and place redstone on every single one of these concrete. You want to build another instant tick repeater. Make sure that the redstone wire is running into the block that's underneath the top piston. And when you're done building, it should look something like this. Now you want to do the exact same thing for every other row of pistons in this machine. And when you're done, it should look like this. If your friend walked by you building this, he would think you're a redstone master. The side that the top pistons aren't facing is what we will be referring to as the front of the build. So right now we have 11 unique wires, but we want them all to connect into one. You want a bunch of redstone repeaters that will power the block underneath the top piston. Now you use the exact same instant tick repeater design that we use in the sticky pistons, except this time we're doing it on the repeaters. Then you just repeat building the exact same thing over and over again until you've reached the other side of the machine. By now, you probably understand how instant tick repeaters move and work and all that stuff. So I'm going to be replacing this block with a netherite block. If Redstone powers this block, every single sticky piston should activate at the exact same time. And when Redstone stops powering it, all the pistons should retract. Okay, let's test it to make sure it works. You love to see it. So now if we turn the lever off, the pistons should all retract at the exact same time. Let's see. I mean, it took a little bit for the back pistons to retract, but that's just because of the server lag. It's all activating and deactivating in one tick. So now what you want to do is you want to place a redstone wire on every single block underneath the observers that's not a redstone block. So before completing the build, I decided to build this little thing that's kind of like a "Are you sure you want to crash the server" button. And while I'm doing that, I want to explain to you guys the two different states this machine can be in. It can either be active or deactive. When it's in its deactive state, it means none of the redstone lines are being powered. When it's in its active state, it means all of the redstone lines are powered. There's a huge difference between deactive and active though. If the netherite block is not being powered by anything, then it is in what is called the deactive state. When you power the netherite block, it'll take about 3 seconds for the machine to enter the active state. When in the active state, if the netherite block stops getting powered, the server will crash. The reason why it doesn't crash the server whenever you're turning on the machine is because it takes about 3 ticks for a piston to push a block. Meaning every 3 ticks, 50,000 blocks are being moved, but the server can handle this. So although it takes a piston 3 ticks to push a block, it takes 1 tick for it to pull one. Unlike turning on the machine, where the machine turns on one layer after another, when you turn off the machine, every single layer turns off at the exact same time. So when you're turning on the machine, it pushes about, I don't know, maybe like 100,000 blocks every 3 ticks, but whenever you're turning off the machine, it moves 1.4 million blocks in 1 tick, and the server can't handle that. Okay, so now that we're done doing that, we can finally complete the build. In between every single observer and piston, you want to place a block. That's all you have to do. I don't know why I chose purple blocks, I just did. Side note, before testing to see if this works, I would create a backup of your server or world. And now that we're done with the machine, it's time to showcase how it works. Okay, so we're going to put the piston in its active state. Yes, I would like to confirm this decision, Mr. Redstone lamp. So as you will see, it progressively turns on, as I was explaining. Like it progressively moves the blocks. Before you crash the server, make sure none of the blocks are being pushed anymore. And then once that's done, you can finally toggle the machine again and the server will crash. It takes a while for the server to actually crash, but a really good way to test if it worked is to go up to pistons that are still pushed and then break the piston heads. Or it'll just do it on its own, but if the pistons don't have their piston heads, or if you break it and then the bottom of the piston doesn't break, the server's going to crash any second now. Another thing you can do is if you have operator commands, try and change your game mode. If it doesn't work, then the server most likely crashed. Any second now, and is it not crashing? Why is it not crashing? There we go, it crashed. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, go down in the comments, tell me what you liked with the video. On your way down there, why not hit subscribe? I spend literal hours in these videos, and it would really make my day if you subscribed. And if you guys are subscribing, please make sure to ring the notification bell so you guys get notified every single time I upload, because who knows, maybe one day I'll make a video about how to build a slime farm so you can actually realistically build this machine in your lifetime. But yeah, unfortunately, that's all for now, and as always, peace.